In this video, I'm going to take a look at an approach we could use in D365 to handle progress billings on sales orders. In this case, I'm going to use the project management and accounting module to help us manage those progress billings. For my scenario, I'm going to have a set of 3 different billings for this one large order. With the initial order, we need a 40% down payment. When we receive the material in-house, we need another 40%. And finally, when the material is delivered to the customer, we'll bill the remaining amount with a net 60 terms. So with that, let's jump over to D365 and see how this will work in the software. So now we're here at our home workspace, and I'm going to go in this case to project management, where I'm going to set this large order up as a project. So let's call this our large customer order. It will be a time and materials project, which means I need to have a contract. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a contract for that as well. What they call funding source is actually my customer. So I'm going to go ahead and select Desert Wholesales there. Go ahead and select OK on that, and that brings all that information back here to the new project screen, where I'll select my user as the project manager and go ahead and create that project. This gives me the ability to do things like scheduling, set up a work breakdown structure, things like that. But in this short video, I'm just going to look at how I can handle the advanced and progress billings. So what you'll see here from the ribbon bar, you'll see right there I have my customer advance. But before I even do the customer advance, I'm going to go ahead and create the sales order. So here under item task, that's where I can go ahead and create the sales order. So come in here, you'll notice everything populates in the create sales order except maybe some warehouse information. It's pulled all of that information from the customer that is assigned to this project and contract. So I'll go ahead and say OK. And it reminds me, hey, your project was not in process yet. So let me step back out of that sales order. Let me just jump back to the project stage and go ahead and choose to put this project in process. Typically, you're going to do some budgeting, things like that, before you would put the project in process. But in this case, I'm not going to worry about that. So let's try this one more time. We should be able to complete a sales order this time. Let's give it a second here to populate all that. This is better. There we go. So it has brought in everything from my sales order. In this case, as I mentioned, it's going to be a very large order. So I'm going to put in my item number and go ahead and choose that I'm selling it by the each in this case. And it's a large order. There's going to be 6,000 of them. And I'm going to do kind of a discounted price on that to get us to $975. And I'm also going to go up to the top and I'm going to go over here and put in a freight charge for this sales order as well. And let's see, my freight charge here is going to be a fixed amount, 2548.87. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. Oops, I'm going to get a credit limit warning that this exceeds their credit limit, but that's okay as I have the ability to override that. And so in this case, I will go ahead and confirm this sales order. May get a credit management hold on this. If so, I'll go ahead and take that off. I don't believe Desert Wholesales actually has a $900,000 credit line with us. They do not. So I'm going to go ahead and clear these messages, come in here to credit management, and I will see that it is being blocked because it's a large sales order. It's got credit limit. The credit has expired. So I am good with this. So I'm going to go ahead and release this sales order. So that sales order has now been released, and that will then continue through the standard sales order process. If we're doing production, if we need to do purchase orders, things like that, we can do that from there. So this case, I'm going to jump back to the project because now I want to go ahead and request a customer advance. So in this case, I'm going to say simply customer prepayment, and I'm going to go ahead and enter that prepayment amount. Say okay. And it has now created an invoice proposal for me for that dollar amount. I could go ahead and print this invoice out, print management. I could use all of my different forms. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead. Did I not hit post? Good. I've got my payment terms over here. So this customer is net 60. So I don't want the prepayment to be net 60. So I'm going to simply go ahead and make this prepayment net 10. And now I'm going to go ahead and choose to post this. So this will post on the customer's account, showing them owing this on receivables, and this will be offset with a liability account. In this case, customer deposits, I believe, is what I have set up. So with that said, let's go ahead and scroll down here. We can look at view details where we can see the voucher to see that this actually went to customer deposits and accounts receivable. So now that sales order has that posted invoice journal on it, if I look under pending transactions, I will see that there's the large sales order for our part C1111. So now I'm going to use the related information up here to drill back to that sales order that we created earlier. And I'm going to generate a purchase order to get this material. So I want to include this item. I need to select who we're buying it from. So I'm actually going to buy it from Aid Supply Company here. And go ahead and select OK. And this will create the purchase order actually tied to the sales order. And I'm going to move it through the process pretty quick here for sake of the demo. So I'll go ahead and receive this material in. Go ahead and go to the General tab here where I can see the related purchase order that was just created. And I see that that purchase order is in the system. I'm going to go ahead and confirm this purchase order. I'm not worrying about price or anything like that at this point for the sake of this demo. We'll go ahead and confirm this purchase order. And then we're going to go ahead and receive in the products. Again, normally this would be done in our warehouse using the warehouse app, things like that. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and receive that material in. So now that that material has been received into the warehouse, I'm going back over to the project where I can again do another customer advance. So in this case, I'm going to roll that forward a day just so I don't have two invoices on the same day. And I'm just going to say this is the second payment for $391,020. Select OK. And again, I'm going to change the payment terms to net 1, or we'll do net 10. We'll give them 10 days to pay this one. Net 10, and I'm going to go ahead and post it. Now I could put other comments, things like that on this invoice. And again, if I view details, we'll come out here and look at the voucher that's created. And again, it went to customer deposits and accounts receivable. So again, if I scroll back, I can look at my posted transactions and I can see I have those two invoices against this project that are posted. I still have the pending transaction out here for the customer sales order, and it's now showing the cost amount and things. So it's slowly cleaning up as we're going through this process. So the last step, we're ready to ship the goods to the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that sales order, and I'm going to do my picking list and get that picking list set up. So the sales order would, if I had production, I could do all the production information and everything I need to do with that. And again, picking, packing would be just like it's normally done in the sales order process. So I'm going to go ahead and update all on this so it is completed. And I am now going to post my packing slip. So that would say that this product has now been sent out to the customer. Now, once this gets done, what you'll notice is if I go to the invoice tab where I would normally go in sales order, I can no longer invoice this purchase or this sales order because the sales order is on a project. So I'm going to go ahead now and, whoops, went back one too far, get back into the project we were just working with. And now I don't need to do a customer advance. I need to do the invoice proposal. So I'm going to go ahead before I do that and jump out and roll my date forward in Dynamics because I shipped it out later. So I want to make sure I have the right date in the system because you cannot bill for things that haven't happened yet in project, which makes complete sense. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to do a new invoice proposal now. One of the keys here is to make sure on your transaction type that you choose to include sales orders. And I'm going to include all sales order lines at this case and go ahead and search, and we'll see that it finds my sales order, which was a total of $977,548.87, but I have deductions for $782,040 for my prepayments, and I can see those by looking at the advanced tab here. So I can go ahead and see that information. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And that will go ahead and create my final invoice. So I go ahead and see the invoice amount. I can see what's already been invoiced. I can see the prepayment account information as well as the sales order information. So again, I'd go ahead then and print my sales order from here, or in this case, I'll go ahead and simply post. We'll let that get posted to the system and we'll go look at the voucher. And so now I'll go ahead and view details. And again, now if I come out here, actually I won't see it from the sales order side. I meant to go here to the view details. And we can see how it has cleared out a debit to the customer deposit. It's recorded some commissions. It's put the whole product sales. It's recorded my cost of goods. It's recorded the new AR and backed out my inventory amounts. So it completed all of the expected sales order posting. So at that point, this project would be moved to a completed state. So I could go ahead and change the project stage to finished, and this order is done. So hopefully that handles understanding how you could do some progress billings along with a large sales order. Thank you.